Alright, today I got a special one for you guys. This is the Velotric Nomad 2 in this box. We're going to assemble the bike today on video so you guys can see how to put it together. First thing we're gonna do after we get most of the styrofoam off, so we're gonna install the handlebars. All right, so with this bike, pretty much all you do is line this up with the plate, and your numbering for the torque rating is right here, and you want that to be facing in the right direction. So now they do include Allen wrenches in the toolkit, so you're welcome to use theirs. But when you are tightening these down, make sure you're doing it in a cross pattern, and make sure that this is all the way inside the bolt so it doesn't strip anything. And we'll just kind of go around a few times, get it all nice and tight until we can't turn it anymore. And if you have a torque wrench, this is the time where you'll use that. So I'll just do it by hand. I built enough of these, I know. And it goes this way. Cables go down underneath. These kind of just wrap up like that. And this is plastic, but it's stretchy. It's not gonna break on you. So plug in those two cables. This other cable here goes to your headlight, which mounts right there. I'm guessing we loosen here. We need a bigger wrench though. Pretty sure it's the orange one. No, it's even bigger than that. Red. There we go. Now because of the cables, this is where we probably need to go underneath, like I thought. Wasn't 100% sure. Okay. And then the headlight goes right here. So we'll take that bolt off. Go ahead and put the bolt through the headlight bracket. And we'll just bolt that right into that hole. Now this one you want to be careful. Don't tighten it down too much. It's 3 to 5 Newton meters because the bracket's plastic, so I just hand tighten it like that. And then this has an adjustment with a Phillips, so you can tighten this to make it stiffer or looser, however. I think it's pretty good. All right, so we're done with this part. So now we're gonna take our handlebar jacks, which I always show these because they are one of my favorite accessories. It makes installing the front tire and working on the bike a lot easier, especially on the side of the road. Because these are so compact, you can just throw them in your bag. They Velcro together, and they're just little tripods for your handlebars, so when you flip it around, you conveniently have a place to work on your bike on the side of the road, which is cool. So these just Velcro here. You don't have to like tighten them down too much. So then we can just basically grab the brakes, pull on the bike like this, so with the brake lever engaged. Then we try to hold on. So then we just reach over here, grab the fork, let go, grab the other one. And just be careful, gentle. That way you don't scratch anything up. Pull this off, which is on a quick release. These should just pop out. This can go in the trash. So when you install the front tire, the first thing you want to do is pull out this plastic shipping protector for the brakes. Then you want to align the rotor with the caliper and just be gentle Make sure it goes right in between there, and then your wheel will just set right in place. Now with the package, you get a set of wheel caps with 2 gaskets. That is included in the headlight and screen box, so if you're looking for them, that's where they are. So we'll take the washer, put the flat in like that, take the rigid end on the outside. I don't think it matters too much, but that's the way I'm gonna do it. Put your nut on there. This is probably a 15, so let me grab a 15 here. So let's go ahead and put that one on. Now you're welcome to use a socket or the provided wrench that they have in the box. And there we go. And the wheel is perfectly straight. I was a little worried about that because the box had a big gash down the side of it right where this was sitting. But as you notice here, we have a nice smooth rotation of the tire. Now this does have 100 millimeter of travel on this RST front shock, which is nice. It will be good for off-road. I'm kind of excited to test that. Haven't done any off-roading in a while. Try to do it on a day that's not so muddy, but it's pretty muddy right now, I'll tell you that, with all the rain and snow we've been having. So with the fender, first thing you'll want to do is remove this bolt. So figure out, there you go. Take this bolt off. It's kind of tricky. Just find where your wrench is going to sit. Okay. That should be good. So we'll take our fender and slide it in front ways. Alright, so there's that. Grab your bolt. Stick it through this part. We'll take our nut, screw it on the back here. Again, you might not be able to see that. I have it pretty good here. We'll just be getting that in the right spot. We'll tighten that down in just a second. Now this is pretty forgiving, so you can go ahead and tighten this one down. The other side will be fine. Okay. Nice and secure in the right position. There we go. Should be good now. Last thing we gotta do is the pedals. They are labeled, so we'll take our right pedal here. Right pedal is the right orientation, so it's righty-tighty. Hand tighten it first till the threads catch. Then you can use your pedal wrench or a 15 millimeter wrench, which they provide in the box. I like using a pedal wrench because it gives me a lot more force. I can tighten this down really good. So that's why I use one. Since this is the left pedal, we go in the opposite direction until the threads catch by hand. So this is feeling a little sticky, so we'll redo it. You can easily cross thread this as well, so you want to just make sure everything's good and then it's on the threads. Now here's some more stickers for the Velotric bike on the bottom here, as well as the Find My adapter. That's where that's located. So that allows you to have tracking of your bike as well as tracking your fitness and with the Apple Health app. And if somebody takes your bike, you can find out where it is with the app and the Find My app and the iPhone. So if you're in the iPhone or iOS ecosystem, this is a welcome addition. Alright, so now we are done assembling the bike. Pretty straightforward, simple. Let's flip the bike back around. We're going to grab the fork. I just grab it right here on both sides. It's going to be kind of hard to do with a camera strapped to me. And then we'll just slowly carry it up. Use your leg here to hold it in place. Grab both brakes. And then now you're vertical. So Just reorientate your hands and roll it back. And that's all she wrote. One new feature with the Nomad 2 is that it does have a suspension seat post already built into the bike, so that's cool. If you are a shorter rider, just note that this elevates the seat up about 3 inches. So when they say that it fits somebody 4'11" on up, they mean without the suspension seat post. With the suspension seat post, it's 5'2" and up. Something to note. Just a lot of people are confused, but when you have a suspension seat post, it adds quite a bit of height to your seat height because it has to have that suspension built in. Now you can adjust this up and down, but then you want to make sure you have your seat in the right place. So something like that. Strap it down, make sure it's tight. And here's where your reading of your class 2 sticker is with your large frame. It'll say R, I think, for regular on the next one. They do have an emblem here that says that you can locate it with Apple Find My, as well as works with Apple Health. It tells you how to download the app, and you can just scan this QR code. Gives you instructions on how to unlock the speed, so you'll be able to easily adjust this to your liking. So if you want to go 28 miles an hour, which is the max speed, you'll want to unlock it for sure. And then it does have a 2-year warranty. Just got to scan this QR code. So if you have any problems with your bike, Velotric has a very good reputation with their customer service. You're welcome to check the Facebook group. Lots of really happy customers on there. They had the official one, and then there's a couple other groups for the different various models and just other Velotric groups. So we're going to go ahead and plug the battery in, make sure it's fully charged. So plug this into my outlet here. So this is where you will plug it in right here, this little cap. It has a odd shape, so you can only plug this in one way. Makes it really nice. You don't have to fumble around and try to figure out what orientation it goes in, but you just take that. Some people say that you should plug this into the outlet first and then plug it into the battery, or plug it into the battery and then plug it into the outlet. I personally like plugging it in here first and then plugging it into the outlet. So now the light's red, that means it's charging. When it's done, it'll turn green, and then we'll power on the bike, and I'll go over everything with you today. And then once we're done charging here, I'll power everything up, show you how it works, show you how to unlock it, and give you all the specs of this awesome e-bike. Can't wait to show you more. We are on our maiden voyage of the Velotric Nomad 2, which is a 26 by 4 inch fat tire e-bike. You guys are familiar with the Nomad 1 and the Nomad 1 Plus. This is the successor to those models. Main difference is going to be the display, the colors, the frame design's a little bit different, the controls, the brakes. This one has turn signals. So I'm going to take this out today to show you what it can do. So we're going to start in Eco and work our way up. So we currently have it on cadence, but we can change it to torque. And if you're on a torque sensor, the more power you give it at your pedals, the more power you're going to get out of your bike. With cadence, it's just the rotation that gives you power. So the magnets on the sensor will engage the motor. So depending on what speed you have it on is dependent on what speed you go. But on Eco, under cadence, speed 1, we're getting about 14 miles per hour, and that's pretty accurate with GPS. So the screen and the GPS are matched. We'll go to 2 here and we'll see what our top speed is there. So we're on pedal assist 2 in eco, and we're hitting 18 miles an hour, 17 miles an hour roughly with the pedal assist 2 on eco. Pedal assist 3 on eco. Looks like we're getting 21 miles per hour there. Pedal assist 4, we're getting about 24 miles an hour with that on eco. And then pedal assist 5 on eco, we should get up to about 28 miles an hour, roughly. 27, 28, 29, 30. Alright, we got 30 miles an hour there on eco. So your riding mode's not going to make very much of a difference when you're in cadence mode. It may take just a little bit more to get up to those speeds, but they're going to roughly be the same for each level when you're on cadence. Now with torque, it's all about your power, so you can kind of limit how fast you go. So if you want to stay at this speed, with a cadence it's going to automatically engage the motor, but with a torque it's going to determine how much power you're putting into it. So you can really regulate your speed on the torque sensor, which it's all personal preference. Depends on the day which one I like. We'll go ahead and move to boost mode, which is the most advanced, fastest, most power. And you can definitely feel the motor engaging faster as soon as you start pedaling. It's really hard to portray the different levels of pedal assist on video, but mainly I'm going to be riding around and boost most of the time, unless I'm on a trail or I want to conserve battery. Just really depends on your scenario at that time. Now this is going to be a very awesome off-road bike as well. It does have 100 millimeter of travel on the hydraulic suspension in the front. And then in the back you have a suspension seat post, which definitely seems to be working. And the seat on this thing is just ridiculous. Very plush, very large. It's probably one of the best seats on the market for a stock e-bike. Seems that Velotric is constantly improving their components and their bikes in general. Now there are a couple different models coming out this year for Velotric, so you may see some new models coming out in the near future. I have one sitting in my garage, so if you guys haven't already, please subscribe. There will be a lot of e-bike content coming out this year in 2025. This is my first time on the bike this year. It's been absolutely cold, but we finally got a 60-degree day where I'm not doing anything. Now when you're watching this video is the day of the release or the day after, depending on when I get the video done. So this is a brand new bike, brand new model, brand new upgraded model I should say. This bike is being released on March 1st. I think it's the 24th right now. So I have less than a week to get this video done. That's all right though. So now we're gonna go ahead and head over to the hill climbing road. Now I really like the screen on this bike, easy to see in bright sunny weather or at night. Got all the information that you would need. Shows you your battery percentage, it's very accurate. Shows you all your stats and mileage and everything right on the screen. And that all correlates to the app, so once you connect the app to the bike, you can see all that information on the app as well. And then you can also upgrade the firmware. There may be a firmware upgrade already for this bike, I haven't checked yet. But this is right out of the box, how it is, how it performs. That's what I like to do first. I will be making a couple videos on this bike. I plan to make a
Nomad 1 Plus and Nomad 2 comparison video so you guys can see the differences between the two. That'll be coming up pretty soon. Maybe right after this video. It just depends on how much I can get done. Now I am using a brand new camera, the Insta360 Ace Pro 2, which is supposed to be phenomenal in night scenes. So we can do a lot of night riding this year. It's hard to film night video with an action camera because they just are not the greatest. But this one looks like it's gonna be. We'll have to do some testing here in the future. But on our hill climbing spot, we have a 6, 8, 10, and 12% grade. Most single motor bikes don't graduate to the 12, but should be able to get at least past the 8% grade. We'll see if we can get to the 10. And I will be doing a range test on this bike with throttle only in a future video. So again, if you haven't, subscribe, and I'll be posting that shortly. So far, pedaling this bike is very good. I think it's right up there with the Discover 2, which is one of my favorite pedaling bikes. Even with the cadence sensor engaged, it definitely is good at pedaling. You're getting rotation at those upper speeds. Definitely got a lot of power at the beginning. I think it's 90 Newton meters of torque. About the same as the Discover 2. You hit those bumps, they don't even bother you on this bike. So here we are right at the school bus stop sign. That's where it is the 6% grade. Let's try it with throttle only. This will use all the motor's power and none of my leg power. So we're hitting 15 miles per hour there. So yeah, I hope the Ace Pro 2 performs well. I'm shooting in logs, so I'll have to color grade the footage. And I'm using the Mega View, which is like Super View on the GoPro, but it actually straightens out all the lines. There's also action, so you can change the field of view depending on what you need. This is the 8% grade right here, and I don't believe the 10% grade is going to be doable with this bike throttle only. Gonna pass a tractor. He asked me if I wanted to race. That's funny.
In a world where all we're talking about are laws and regulations, different rules being made in different states, and nothing aligning, I think Velotric may be standing in a place for success. With a proven track record in the e-bike industry and a commitment to quality manufacturing, Velotric continues to innovate while maintaining compliance and evolving regulations. Their attention to safety standards and user-friendly designs put them ahead of many competitors out there in the market. Offering UL listed and waterproof batteries, quality components, and features that are unheard of at a price that's right, their newest bike, the Nomad 2, might be a contender for top e-bike of 2025. Let's take a closer look at what makes their latest offering stand out. The Nomad 2 is their newest offering. It is a successor of the Nomad 1, offering 26 by 4 inch fat tires, a 750 watt motor with 90 Newton meters of torque, a UL listed battery that comes in at 14.7 amp hours, and it's Samsung or LG cells, so high quality cells there. Very good overall bike with lots of features at a price that I think is very competitive to the market. Now, the Velotric Nomad 2, I believe, is going to be coming in at $19.99 as a retail price, but of course there's probably going to be sales. Maybe I'll get a coupon code. We'll see what happens. This bike right here is phenomenal. I've already taken it out for a ride. I think my favorite feature might be this gigantic seat. It really offers a smooth and comfortable ride paired with a quality suspension seat post, and that one works very well. They are offering a very nice hydraulic front suspension with preload and a lockout with micro adjustments. That has 100 millimeters of travel and offers a really quality fork for this price. You should be able to do quite a bit of off-roading. This will help you out if you're on rugged terrain and even if you ride on a gravel road. This altogether is a really good package for the rider that's going to do a little bit of off-roading as well as commuting and riding on the road. Now they do offer the same MIC HD system that they offered on the Discover 2. So if you have any of the compatible accessories, you'll be able to swap them out between both bikes if you have the other bike. If you have those accessories, you can switch them between the two with this system. They offer baskets, child seats, all kinds of things that just slide right into here and make it like a quick release so you can get it out and swap things around. Maybe one day you want to take your kids out, maybe one day you want to go get groceries. You can put a child seat or swap it for a basket at any time. The other nice quality thing on this bike, it does have an adjustable stem as well as a front headlight and rear tail light. Now the tail light does have rear turn signals, so that's a nice feature for safety. And the headlight is a 500 lumens LED headlight. That's the same one they have on the Discover 2 and the Summit 1, which is very nice for night riding. It's pretty bright. I would suggest adding as much lighting as you can to your bike to make yourself seen, but this will do well for a stock headlight. Now I have my extension cord running over here because we are charging the bike to go out on another ride. And the cool thing about the Nomad 2, it actually tells you how long it's going to take to charge the bike right on the screen, which is really convenient. So you don't have to sit here and guess how charged the battery is. You can come over here and look at it, and this stays on the entire time it's charging. It has some nice Tektro hydraulic brakes, and they provide quite a bit of stopping power paired with the 203 millimeter rotor on the front and the 180 millimeter rotor on the back. Not sure why they didn't put a 203 millimeter rotor on the back, but that might be something they can add to the next version of the Nomad. The screen is the same screen that they have on the Discover 2, which offers a color display, shows everything you would ever need to know, and I'll show you that here in a second. And it has really nice controls. They're clicky, so like you can definitely hear them whenever you're riding. I like that. I think that's nice. This bike has all kinds of features, but I like the simplicity of their controls. They're really easy to get to when you're riding. And then down here is your thumb throttle. That engages the motor whenever you're not pedaling. So if you don't want to use pedal assist, you can just use the throttle. That's pretty nice. Same thing that they have on the Discover 2. And this shares a lot of the same features as the Discover 2. So I'm glad that they brought a lot of the things that I liked on this bike over to the Nomad 2. This bike does have Find My, so if you're in the Apple ecosystem, you can locate your bike if somebody takes it, and you'll be able to find out where it is in the Find My app. And they also offer the ability to track your rides with Apple Health, something that I've not seen on any other bike at this time. So I like the Apple integration in this bike. Now this is still considered a budget e-bike. Some bikes you can see out there, they can go from $6,000 and up. Depending on what you're looking for, who makes it, how high quality all their components are. This is still considered a budget bike. Now they have a really nice derailleur on here though. And this is one of the things that will set it apart from the Discover 2. They have the Shimano Acera derailleur, which is a high quality derailleur. It's the top of the line on the budget series of Shimano derailleurs, which means it shifts gears really smoothly. You won't have to worry about it jumping out of gears or anything like that. You should be able to shift, 1 through 8 without any issues. And yes, this is an 8-speed cassette. It's very nice, very enjoyable ride. You'll really appreciate the high quality derailleur on this bike. Now that's another reason why it's $19.99 retail, because they do have some really nice components with that derailleur, the front shock, the suspension seat post, that big seat. You don't have to go out and buy anything when you get this bike. It's got really nice grips. Everything's ready to go, and that's why I like the Nomad 2. It also has fenders, which are plastic. Of course, it's got the 4-inch wide tires, so the fenders are wider compared to the Discover 2. This is brought over from the Nomad 1 and the Nomad 1 Plus. So it's got really nice tinted tires on here, and plastic fenders, which I prefer over metal because of the sound that it makes when you go through gravel and you have metal fenders. It's not a pleasant sound, kind of embarrassing. I like the plastic, it kind of mutes that. Now this color is called Sage. It is a really cool color. It kind of reminds me of camo. They got a lot of really nice colors this year. I think there's 6 total. 2 in the high step series, so they had this and then a blue one, midnight blue I believe. And then there's 4 other colors on the step through, one of those being midnight blue, but then there's 3 other ones. So they have another color that's kind of similar to this, but actually a little bit darker. I really like that one too. All the colors are excellent. I normally go for blue, but I decided to switch it up today. Now they are known for their Velo power drive system. They're proprietary motors for their company, and they work very well. I like them. They have a lot of torque and they get you up to speed pretty quickly. And the other thing about the Discover 2 and the Nomad 2 is that you can switch from torque and cadence. So you can have a torque sensor or a cadence, and I explained that in the riding footage, what the differences are. So I'm going to go ahead and unplug this. And we're going to go ahead and power on the bike. Okay, now we're going to go over the screen and all the settings and all the features. You'll hit the power button and that'll light up the screen with the Velotric logo, and then this is the way the screen looks. Now it auto dims depending on the light. First thing you're going to see here is the layout. It's got your trip time. It's got your average speed and your max speed, your calories burned, and your carbon dioxide saved. And it also shows your odometer and your total time that the bike's been on, as well as your motor temp and your controller temp. I really like to see that. That's something new that I haven't seen in a lot of e-bikes at this price range. So you can always monitor the temperature of your motor when you're riding. That's great for really hot days. I like to see those types of things integrated in these e-bikes. Over here is your riding mode. You can change that by hitting the bottom button on the remote, and that gives you Eco, Trail, and Boost. Eco being the slowest and most economical mode, so it doesn't give you as much torque when you're riding. Trail is good if you're riding on a bike trail. It's not super fast, a little bit slower increase in speed, whereas Boost is your max. That's where you're going to get your max speed and your max power. That also drains the battery faster. Speaking of battery, here is your battery percentage. Gives you a graph and the total percentage of the battery. This is an indication for your auto light. So as it gets dark, the screen gets brighter and the headlight will automatically come on as well. Over here on the right is your Velotric logo. So this right here is a sensor swap. This allows you to change it from torque and cadence, and you do that in the settings, and we'll go through that in just a second. To get into the menu, you push and hold the M on the control panel, and this is all of your settings. So the first one here is speed limit, then you got sensor swap, then you can clear your trip data, your screen brightness, your riding modes, your rear light mode, your auto light, your auto power off, throttle limited, cruise control, connect to app, find my, set unit, sensor calibration, and finally version info, which will tell you the firmware version. So we'll go through each one of these real quick just to show you what they do. So speed limit is where you set the limit for your speed. So the first one here is pedal, and the second one here is throttle. It's kind of hard to see it on camera with this yellow on here with the white background, but in person it's really easy to read. So pedaling, you can have it set at 28 miles per hour max, or you can have it set all the way down. You can really fine tune this bike, which is nice. So if you want your throttle to be slower than your pedal or vice versa, you can do that by just changing this to whatever. So now we have it on 20 for pedal and 28 for throttle. You may want to do that depending on if you're on a trailer or something, but you can change this at any time before you go out, which is really nice. And it's really easy to get to. It's the very first thing on the menu. So you hit M to save, and then the bottom button to go back. Next one is sensor swap, and this is where you change it from a torque to a cadence. I explained this in the riding footage, but basically torque is like riding a regular bike. The amount of power you put into the pedals, the faster and more speed it gives you, the more power it gives you. Whereas with cadence, the sensor has magnets in it, so anytime the sensor is red, it produces power to the motor. So all you got to do is pedal. So it doesn't matter how hard you pedal or how fast you pedal, it's going to engage the motor. So this is nice if you just want to have a relaxing ride. If you want a little bit of a workout, you'll want torque. The nice feature about this bike is really you can determine what you want anytime. So to save, you hit M and it takes you back to the screen. If you want to clear your trip data, you just go in here and hit reset. So if you hit M, it'll reset it. We're not going to do that now. Screen brightness is the next option. So you can have it on auto, so it'll auto dim. It'll auto adjust the brightness of the screen depending on how much light there is. And you can manually adjust it. So as we go down the numbers here, it gets darker and darker and brighter as we increase. So we'll leave it on auto. Riding mode, this is where you can change from boost, trail, and eco. You can also do that on the main menu. Rear light mode, this gives you the option to change how the tail light reacts to your brake. So when you hit the brake on mode 1, this is just like a normal bike or a normal car. As you hit the brake light gets brighter. And then when you're riding with just your lights on, the tail light will be steady. So it just lights up at a lower level of illumination. Mode 2, basically the entire time you're riding, as long as you have your headlight on, the tail light will be flashing. And then when you brake, it gets brighter. And then rear light mode 3, basically when you're riding, it's steady like it normally is, but when you brake, it starts flashing. This is the mode that I use the most. I like having it flash when I hit the brake so it alerts the drivers behind me if they see that. So we'll leave it in mode 3. Auto light, basically your headlight will automatically come on as it gets darker. So if we go in here, we can turn that on or off. Auto power off is basically how long the bike's going to take to power off the bike automatically. You can turn this completely off. You can have it set for 5, 10, 30, or 60 minutes. I leave mine on 60. I usually remember to turn mine off, but if I don't. Throttle limited, basically what this means is when you're in torque mode, you can have the pedal assist level limit to your throttle. So if you're on mode 1, your throttle is going to go slower when you engage it. And then if you have the throttle limited turned on, it's going to basically limit how fast the throttle goes based on the PAS level, depending on what mode you're in. So you can set that for either or. Cruise control, self-explanatory. You can have that on or off. Connect the app. This is how you connect the Nomad 2 to the Velotric app and set it up so you can keep track of all your information as well as configure the bike through the app versus the screen. The Find My enables Find My and allows you to connect your bike to your Find My app on your iOS ecosystem. As long as you have an iPhone, you can track the bike kind of like an AirTag. It's basically the same thing. And if for any reason it disappears, you can go in and find out where that's located. Under Find My, you can turn it on or restore to default settings if you're having any problems. Next one is set units, so you can have it in miles or kilometers. Sensor calibration, so if you need to calibrate your sensor, if it seems like it's not working quite right, then you can go in here and calibrate it to get it back to where it's supposed to be. Version info is the last menu item on the screen, and this basically tells you the firmware version for your display, your controller, and your battery. Alright, so now we're on the Connect to App screen, which has a QR code that you scan to connect to the Velotric app. I already have the Velotric app downloaded, so I'm just going to pull that up. And here we are. And you can see the last bike I set up was the Summit 1. So since I have multiple bikes, I can go in here. I also had the Discover 2. So I'm going to add a bike by hitting this right here. So in the app, you'll choose the Nomad 2. And then it's going to say place the QR code, which it automatically scanned it because it's right here on my screen. And then this will add your bike to the app. I'm trying to find the best placement for this thing. This one we're going to call Randy Rides 3. Might as well. And this will tell you your odometer, your percentage. You can start riding and it'll map out your ride and keep track of your information. You can also pause that and hold the stop so it doesn't count anything on my ride here. And then you can go to bike settings. This is where you can automatically change the mode from the app. So you don't even have to use the screen. You can do it from your phone. You can change your screen brightness here. You can change the speed limit for pedal assist or throttle. You can do auto power off settings here. Almost all the settings that are in the screen are right here. You can also change the sensor from torque to cadence. And then this is where you go to do a firmware update. Right now it looks like all of my firmware is up to date at this time. And then if you ever go to sell your bike, or you want to, you're going to upgrade one day, you can unpair it. So like if you're going to upgrade to a new one, you can unpair the bike from the app. But that's how that works. So now we have Randy Rides 1, which I probably need to modify so it matches the other two.
And that concludes the Nomad 2 review. Stay tuned for more. I'm going to be doing a lot of videos about this bike and the other Velotric e-bikes coming out. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button. If you like the Nomad 2, or you just like Velotric as a company in general, make sure you hit that like button down below. If you have any questions, please leave them down in the comments section. I'm always there to help, so I'll respond to you as quickly as I can. And until the next time, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.